So the project aims to engage and inspire young people through collaborative arts and engineering experiences. So it challenges the perceptions of engineers and engineering, so who they are and what they do. With a primary focus on medical engineering, we're aiming to creatively communicate its impact to society. So to do that, we've brought together engineering researchers and technicians with teachers and dance artists, and our purpose is to develop innovative educational experiences. So the Mechanics of Life concept was really inspired by the two worlds that I work within and between. So in the University of Mechanical Engineering and with artists in the cultural sector. So particularly my collaborations with choreographer Kenneth Tindall, with Northern Ballet and with Batley Girls High School. So where we've been working on art science projects, and the idea was to bring these worlds together around the concept of bodies as these awesome machines.
As a creative and a curious creative, I really want to understand what a machine can do. What does that look like? One in competition with me, side by side, working with me, and emotionally. Like, we know that computers can do great things, but what happens, what is the human element? I guess that's the really interesting thing. What is the human element in all of this? How do we also embrace it, collaborate it, if it's going to help us move forward on a scientific front to save lives, to make operations, smoother, better? How do we embrace the technologies? How do we move forward? And I think naturally all of those questions are being asked as we try to navigate through that field to create this work. We are putting these elements together in a room and we're throwing them, and we have this privilege of this wonderful R&D and this wonderful collaboration between amazing organizations that are all great in their own fields. And here we are coming basically back to humanity, trying to solve how we move forward and keep ourselves relevant against a new technology.
The process of co-production really brought to the fore these ideas of contrasts and the interface between human and machine, and between robotic and organic movement, and how dance has this expressive qualities of movement, and how that might interplay with robotics in terms of robotic movement of purpose, intention and emotion. Can robots really do that? So the human machine, puppet and master concept comes through within the film, and our use of robotics in both manual and automated processes within this.
So we really hope the research that we do here at the University of Leeds has real impact in terms of patients, but also high performance athletes. So a lot of what we do is looking at how we can optimise treatments. So if someone has a problem with their hip, how we can better advise our surgeons with how they need to be approaching that problem, and how we can look at the engineering of, say, any replacement body parts that we put in there.
Medical engineering has become more prominent in my career as I've gotten older. I think when you're young, you kind of you can do everything, or you can feel like you can do everything, and there's no limits. And I feel like as I've gotten older, my body has not felt the same as when it was younger. So I really have taken into consideration biology and physio, and really just seeing how these things intertwine with how we can adapt those skills to help our range of motion.
Yes, so sometimes there are weeks when we do a lot of shows and a lot of rehearsals. We sometimes have one rehearsal for the other performance, and then we have the performance which we are doing. So it can be quite tough, but the science research was there to help me how to recover from that.
So high-performing athletes are really susceptible to injury due to the nature of their job, and so a lot of the surgical treatments that we're developing are both for the general public, but also for athletes who have maybe injured their joints whilst doing their job. And so a lot of our testing, we try and test for sort of regular day-to-day activities, but also stretch these tests to encompass the added load that an athlete might put their joints under.
So the most common injury for dancers are going to be the place that the body gets the load of weight through it. So typically it would probably be ankles, knees, hip, back, maybe neck. But having said that, again, it's so specific to what your body is. Some people are really strong in their core, some people are really flexible in their back, some people have tight hamstrings, some people have pronated ankles. So what you are basically born with, the genetics, the DNA, has a huge factor when you put a foreign language on top of that. And when I say foreign language, I mean classical ballet, which you could argue isn't natural for the body.
So actually recently I dislocated my knee just before this project was supposed to go through. Unfortunately, my knee kind of went out of place, didn't track over my toes. It's a lot to come back from. I actually feel that I'm stronger coming back now than how I left, because I don't think I've ever done this much fitness in my life.
I had an operation quite a time ago, and it was quite of a shock. It took a lot mentally and physically to go through this, because it's not easy for us ballet dancers to stop completely. But after that, when you take everything off the cast, it's just, you feel reborn, and you got to have more passion for dance.
So ballet dancers can demonstrate these extremes of motion and really work at what the limits of what our bodies are capable of. And that was our way to creatively engage students in the role engineering plays within the lives of athletes as well as everyday people. Taking something that at first seems quite far removed from the discipline of engineering, but showing how these worlds are really connected. So to do this, we've brought together engineering researchers and technicians with teachers and dance artists. And our purpose is to develop innovative educational experiences. So working together in this way, we're challenging stereotypes across the disciplines and building sustainable partnerships across the arts, education and engineering. So we've delivered cross-curricular and experimental learning activities and experiences, with themes cutting across a broad range of curriculum areas from design technology, science, maths, performing arts and physical education. So each engagement informed the next stage, as did the learning experiences with the students that really helped us frame the focus based on their interests. So the final activities drew out materials used to inform the choreography of the short dance films. So scientific language and words, adjectives and descriptive expressive language, to movement pieces that were created by the students with engineers, teachers and dancers.